Hi students, this is Miss Whitaker, and I am going to start off by showing some of my notes from class today to help you with your lesson tonight. This was the first page from our notes. You'll have to excuse some noise. Miss Yost is tutoring for reading, and you can hear them come through the wall, so I'm going to try to talk over them. But anyway, it's called Dividend in the House, and we did this warm-up in class today. And you had to estimate, so you can see all my answers for that today to kind of get us in the gear of dividing with long division. This was not the next page, but with the picture of the division, the models. I kind of skipped over that because I thought most of that's pretty self-explanatory. But this worked example was nice because it shows the parts of the division problem. You notice the divisor is a whole number. And since the divisor is a whole number, the decimal comes straight up. You don't have to move anything as far as like moving this way. It comes straight up, and then you just divide as normal. There are some answers to the questions right here, which might help you with your homework tonight if you need it. This is another page from our book. I answer number D, or letter D. What does the O5 represent in the standard algorithm? It represents 5/10. They're divided into 3 equal groups. I answered E. Then 3. 3A, I work out right here. And again, every time you're just moving your decimal up, up, and up, because these are whole numbers out that are the divisors. So you can just move the decimal up. We don't have to move anything out or anything like that. This is some more practice. It says, how are the divisors and dividends in the last 3 problems related to the first problem? They all have been multiplied by 10, or no, not all. They each have been multiplied by 10 or 100 or 1,000. If you calculate all 4 quotients, it should all equal 8. What happens to a quotient when the dividend and divisor are multiplied by the same number? It stays the same. Here, what they're talking about is, which one of these would get you the same answer as is in the problem. This one would, because you would move the decimal, you'd move the decimal out twice here, which means you'd have to move it out twice here, which then would give you the same numbers that you're dividing with as in up here. So you should get the same answer. Here, you'd have to move it out 1, 2, 3, and then it's already right here, so then you move it out, it go 1, 2, 3. So this would be the problem that you're dividing with, which is not the same. This one, you move it out twice. This one, you move it out twice, and this is what your problem would look like, which is not the same as the original problem. This one, you'd move it out 1, 2, 3, 4. You would do the same thing here, which then in turn would give you the same number that you're dividing with as in the original problem. So I hope that helps with that. This is also from the notebook pages that we have from class. Just explains, this is a little bit confusing, it's just explaining why we move the decimal over on each side so that we can get that whole number of 77 divided by 35. This one, why does the diagram show subtracting 70 from 77? The 77 divided by 35 equals 2. You subtract 35 times 2, or 70, from the 77 to get the leftover. Here are some more examples of where you move the decimal on the outside to make a whole number. So we moved it once. You move it once here, and it comes straight up. I move it once. I move it once here. It comes straight up. I move it once. I move it once here. It comes straight up. Again, we're moving it just to get the divisor as a whole number. And here is some more problem solving where you had to work out some problems. These you had to divide by 6 because they're talking about a cube, and a cube has 6 sides. So if you want to figure out what one face is, you take the surface area and you divide it by 6, and that will give you the area of one of your faces. One of your faces. One of the faces. So you will see one just like this probably on your test review tomorrow. Here is your homework tonight. So you did not have to do the right. You got to do the practice. I also said in class that you did not need to estimate. You could just calculate. So when we just work this out, I maybe would use a space down here. So I have 8 divided into 51.68. I have a whole number here, so I don't do any movement of my decimal. It just comes straight up, and I divide as normal. 8 cannot go into 5. 8 goes into 51 6 times, which gives me 48 with a remainder of 3. Bring down your 6. 8 goes into 6 4 times, which gives me 32. Leftover of 4, bring down your 8, and 8 goes into 48 6 times. There is my answer for the first one. I believe all of these should work out equally. Let me try another one. Let's do number 3. That looks like a big one. So we're going to do 2.04 into 29.988. So how many places am I moving my decimal to make this a whole 204? 2 places, so I have to do the same thing here. My decimal will go right up there. Can 204 go into 2? No. Can it go to 29? No. Can it go to 299? Yes, it goes in one time. When you subtract, you get 95. Bring down that 8. How many times does 204 go into 958? I'm going to say probably 4 times. 4 times 4 is 16. Regroup your 1. 4 times 0 is 0, plus the regroup is 1. And 4 times 2 is 8. When you subtract, you get 2, 4, and 1. Bring down the last 8. How many? Let's try 7 times. 7 times 4 is 28. Regroup my 2. 7 times 0 is 0, plus 2 is 2, and 7 times 2 is 14, and it works out perfectly. So I believe all of these are going to work out perfectly. Just remember, you have to make your divisor a whole number. So however many times you move your divisor, you have to do the same thing on the inside. Okay, so now also remember you have to do the review tonight. For the first one, the review, it says that she spends $250 on a regular sheet of wrapping paper that is 24 by 19.5 inches. How many square inches are in one rectangular sheet? So I imagine you have to find the area. So you would multiply 24 times 19.5. And then once you get that area, then you can divide it by the $2.50. And that's how I would do number 1. Number 2, we have a cube, which we know how many sides does it have? It has 6. But they're only giving you one side of the face, which would be 57, which means you're going to have to do 57 times 57 to get your whole area, and then you would multiply it by 6. So the formula would look something like this. 6 with 57 times 57. And that would give you the surface area of that cube. For this one, don't forget, number 3, you have to determine the area of a triangle. Please don't forget that the area of a triangle, the formula for that is 1/2 base times height. Don't forget you must change this to an improper fraction before you cut anything in half. Number 4, you have to do your check mark, and don't forget then to do the keep, change, flip. For the A and B on number 5, don't forget you got to bring your decimal out 1, 2, and 1. So in your answer, you got to bring it back over 3 places. For B, you're going to bring it out once for a total of 2. So you got to bring it back over 2 places. Ooh, B I can do real quick in my head. 12 times 12 is 144. And then my decimal will come back over 2 places. So there is your answer for B. I hope this helps you guys tonight. Have a good night. Don't forget, tomorrow is early release. Yay. My computer's about to die, so I have to quickly turn this off. But tomorrow in class, I will be collecting your prep work, and I will be grading it. So make sure you have it and you have your work shown. And then you'll be starting your test review in class tomorrow. You'll have 30 minutes to do your test review, and whatever you don't finish, you have to do for prep work. So make sure that you're working diligently. And have a good night. See you tomorrow.